Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review Extra, the spin-off show that takes a look at one individual ident each episode and gives it the review it deserves. And this time around, we're embarking on a journey through the rhythm and movement idents that represented BBC One between 2002 and 2006. We're taking on a festive theme as BBC One embraces Christmas in 2002 and 2003. The BBC has had a long tradition of adapting or inventing brand new special idents to mark the Christmas period. Ever since the late 60s, their flagship channel, BBC One, always had a unique sequence every year, most of which have gone on to become well known and regarded in their own right. When the rhythm and movement idents became the channel's representative identity in 2002, it was only natural that the Christmas tradition would continue. But it wasn't without its controversies. So let's sit by the fire with a warm brew and have a look at Snowflakes, the ident that represented BBC One, celebrating Christmas in 2002 and 2003. Well, isn't this wholesome? We see a series of children dressed as snowflakes fall from the sky to a snow-laden earth before running about against a red sky. A nice touch, as we firmly established red is the dominant colour. By coincidence or by design, it also happens to be one of the main colours associated with Christmas. It stands out for sure, but when contrasted with the snowy landscape that these kids are in, it feels less jolly and a bit more doom-laden. The music though helps to alleviate this feeling, comprised of an upbeat series of jingles and sounds that are present in many a Christmas tune. In terms of using the children to front an ident, some may criticise it, but I think it fits with the ethos of the rhythm and movement set. They may not be showcasing a specific skill, but the joy in their movement fits perfectly for Christmas, and it shows that BBC One is comfortable with showing all kinds of people, whether they be children or grown-ups.
BBC One turning up the heat. George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez just can't fight their attraction, with violence and very strong language. Out of sight.
In terms of the long history of Christmas sequences that BBC One has had over the years, it isn't one of my all-time favourites, and for many, it bears a sour taste, as in 2003, it caused some minor, perhaps overblown controversy. As mentioned, BBC One would showcase a brand new ident every Christmas, and it had been that way for decades. However, after initially being used for the Christmas season of 2002, Snowflakes was reused a year later, in 2003, the first time that this had happened on the Beebs flagship channel. Some members of the public complained to the corporation, because if the British are sticklers for anything, it's tradition, and the tradition of a new ident at Christmas had been shattered. Of course, nowadays it's not so much of an issue, as idents of all kinds are reused constantly across different channels, but for a short time in 2003, these snowflake-looking children were not in the hearts of every viewer.
Parkinson at Christmas is tonight at 10:15. Now, back to ancient Egypt for a magical adventure. It could be a bit scary for younger kids, so get ready to hide behind the sofa as BBC One unleashes The Mummy.
Being that Snowflakes was the first Christmas ident of the rhythm and movement set, in many ways it feels like it was trying to work itself out. Keep in mind that the set as a whole was seen as a radical departure for BBC One at the time, and with more emphasis on people as opposed to a globe or a similar symbol. As such, it may not be the best Christmas ident the corporation has ever created, but like anything, it had to start somewhere. The real test, especially after the hoo-ha caused by reusing it in 2003, would be to see if an eventual new ident for Christmas could restore that goodwill. And so that brings us to the end of another episode of the Ident Review Extra. If you enjoyed this look back at the 2002 and 3 Christmas idents for BBC One, then please leave a like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to the channel for lots more ident related content. I've been Martyn from AMTV, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, and Francine Salazar, our AMTV staff members.